Today's video is brought to you by fear and longing and regret and grief and sadness and anxiety and depression and pain and suffering, which is, of course, especially the latter, universal. And if you want to compare suffering, that's pretty useless because we're all carrying what we are each individually carrying, whether it's a suffering physically or metaphysically or spiritually or mentally, emotionally, whatever. Suffering is suffering. In our business of volunteering in the Parkinson's community, we deal with a lot of suffering. I have received calls from people who are suicidal, and I'm not equipped to deal with that, of course. I have received calls from people who are in great despair and agony and lonely, desperately lonely, because many chronic conditions separate us from life. It's hard to even get out of the house. Sometimes I can spend 10 minutes just tying my shoes, which is another reason why I'm so grateful that I met the person who designs Kizik's. And this is not an ad, I'm just noticing that I got this package of shoes, I can just pop my feet in them. Thank you, now I can get out of the house. Just mentioning that. Also, it's easy to procrastinate and to not do all the things that you used to do when you get a diagnosis such as Parkinson's, because you're shaking, or you're awkward, or you feel like you're going to trip over things, or, you have to sort of befriend this disease. It was spoken this morning in one of my morning meetings that I had with a group, that you have to befriend your illness, because if you die and go down, the illness dies too. So you both have an interest in surviving. If you can somehow work with Parkinson's instead of fighting it, which is the equivalent of shooting yourself in the foot, and the anger hurts everybody around you. How do we accept what is when we're in so much pain? How do we realize that the things that we used to lubricate ourselves with to make things work become like the sand and the Vaseline, such as alcohol? After a while, that's just not going to work. It makes everything, it's like gasoline on the fire. I have a lot of new perspectives now that I am practicing not only meditation in earnest and studying Buddhism as a philosophy, not a religion, by the way. I'm not proselytizing. I study a lot of religions and philosophies. But now that I'm doing that, I have a pause that I'm trying and an acceptance that I'm trying. It's a practice. Every day I get up and take my Parkinson's meds so I can move. And every day I have to practice this sort of emotional calm and not trip or storyline. Stay in the moment and ask, how might I be of service? But remember, we're all human. We can only do so much, and not everybody has a capacity to maintain a level of service that might be helpful to you or to me or to all of us. People do what they can with what they've got. We need to befriend also people who are awful to us, and I'll tell you why. They're just suffering. What if instead of saying the mean thing back, or hitting them back, or coming to them with the same level of aggression, which only escalates, what if you paused and said, suffering, I recognize you. Hello, suffering. And thought, what can I do? That doesn't mean that you reach out to people repeatedly who've abused you or hurt you. There's a boundary there. It just means that if you can accept that everybody's going to be on different wavelengths at different times, clashing and bumping into each other, then you can remove the personal part of it, because nothing's personal. And even if it is personal, it's still projection. I've done it, you've done it, we all do these things. It's very human. We don't have time to waste. Memento mori. We just don't have time. I have a wolf on my arm because there's always a wolf at the door. And it says, remember you will die, because we have to live now. You can live and thrive with diseases like MS and ataxia and Parkinson's because we have options, choices. But we don't have time. We think we have time. As they say, this ain't no dress rehearsal. So get happy, enjoy your day. Thank you for being my friend. And to all the people who stuck around through all the waves of Parkinson's, the ups and downs, the meds, the on, the off, the insanity of it all. You've earned a space in my life. I admire your tenacity and perseverance. And I hope I can make you proud with my behaviors. Even though I'm on these medications that can make me a little wacky, I have my touchstones. I can check in with my fellow Parkinson's peeps and with friends and family. And you don't judge me. You still love me in spite of all these behavioral changes that happen with a neurologic condition and brain surgery, which can really mess people up. I'm having a lot of trouble with my programming. We're all in this, though. We're all in different stages of not getting what we want and getting something else. I have a master's degree in procrastination and in not understanding why is this happening. But instead of asking why, how about why not? Turn and face this and just stare into those eyes for a minute. Why not? What's going to happen next? Maybe it's not up to me or you or anyone, but we can love. Keep returning to that love. Acceptance. It's just a practice. Nobody has it mastered. If you meet someone who says they haven't mastered, run. And I do love you. Thank you for listening.